Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. And today we are going to talk about another new chapter called as the Khilji dynasty. So in the last class we would have studied about the slave dynasty. In the slave dynasty we spoke about the various rulers who ruled the slave dynasty and how they actually took forth or took care of their particular kingdom. And after that, at the end, we also spoke about how the Khilji dynasty came into existence. So basically, we know who's the founder of Khilji dynasty, and I've told you this in the last chapter itself. So the Khilji ruler, who was the founder of the Khilji dynasty, he came into the throne or existence after killing the grandson of Balban, that is Kaikubad. So after murdering Kaikubad, is what the Khilji dynasty was being, introduced by a person called as Jalaluddin Khilji. Okay, let's go into the chapter. So today we are going to talk about the Khilji dynasty. The founder of Khilji dynasty is called as Jalaluddin Khilji. So this Jalaluddin Khilji, when he came into the throne, he was almost an old man of 70 years of old. So Jalaluddin Khilji's complete name was called as Jalaluddin Firoz Khilji, and he is the founder of the Khilji dynasty. So as this Jalaluddin Khilji was an old man of 70 years of old, there was a lot of confusions, there was a lot of disorders, there was a lot of disobeys which happened in the kingdom. The main reason is because of the age factor of Jalaluddin Khilji. Jalaluddin Khilji had a son-in-law and he also had a nephew. His name was called as Alauddin Khilji. Alauddin Khilji basically came into the throne in the 1296 CE. He captured the throne after murdering Jalaluddin Khilji. So we'll talk about how Alauddin Khilji came into the throne and how Jalaluddin Khilji was also being murdered. So after Jalaluddin Khilji, the next ruler who started ruling the Khilji dynasty is called as Alauddin Khilji. Alauddin Khilji was a very capable ruler. When Alauddin Khilji was there in the Khilji dynasty along with Jalaluddin Khilji was already pleased with the kind of talent that Alauddin Khilji had. So what Jalaluddin Khilji did is he actually made Alauddin Khilji to be the governor of Awadh and Kara. So after becoming the governor of Awadh and Kara, the first thing what Alauddin Khilji did is he defeated Raja Ramchandra of Devagiri. So this Raja Ramchandra of Devagiri was being defeated in 1296 CE. So after defeating this particular Raja Ramchandra, this Alauddin Khilji, he returned from Devagiri with a fabulous wealth. When Jalaluddin Khilji heard that Alauddin Khilji is been returning with a fabulous wealth after defeating Raja Ramchandra, this was very much pleasing to Jalaluddin Khilji. As Jalaluddin Khilji was being very much pleased by Alauddin Khilji, Jalaluddin Khilji went to Allahabad to welcome Alauddin Khilji. So now Alauddin understood that his uncle is pleased by the fabulous riches that I am bringing to the kingdom. So he is on his way to welcome me and he is near Allahabad. So knowing this factor, what Alauddin did is he actually called up his nobles. He sent the word across to the nobles and he told them that, Jalaluddin is coming to Allahabad in order to, welcome me to the particular kingdom. So before he could, go back to the kingdom or before I could go back to the kingdom, I want Jalaluddin Khilji to be dead. So as per the command which was being given by Alauddin Khilji, the nobles also murdered Jalaluddin Khilji on the way to the Allahabad. After that, what Alauddin Khilji did is, he actually imprisoned the two people, that is Arkali Khan and Kader Khan. Arkali Khan and Kader Khan were the two people whom Alauddin Khilji actually imprisoned. After that, Alauddin Khilji proclaimed himself to be as the Sultan. Now when Alauddin Khilji proclaimed himself to be as the Sultan, all the nobles would be against him. So in order to win over the nobles and take the control over the nobles, what Alauddin Khilji did is he actually started to distribute the booties, that is whatever he looted and plundered after defeating Raja Ramchandra. So all those booties were being distributed amongst the nobles equally, so that the nobles would really feel very happy and they would go according to whatever Alauddin Khilji is telling. Okay, so that was the main intention of Alauddin Khilji, to distribute the booties over the nobles. After that, if you see, Alauddin Khilji wanted to extend his empire. So he wanted to conquer most part of the country. So the first thing what he did is he extended his empire from Brahmaputra in the east to the Arabia in the west. And he also extended his empire from Himalayas in the north till the Madurai in the south. As this Madurai was very far off for him to rule, so what he did is he made the Rajas to be his vassals, and he also collected the annual tribute from them. And after that, Alauddin Khilji also started conquering the places like Gujarat, and he also conquered the places like Malwa. Apart from conquering the Gujarat and Malwa, he started moving towards Rajasthan, and he also captured a places called as the Ranthambore and Chittor in Rajasthan. So during the time of Alauddin Khilji started to face a dozen of Mongols invasion. So there was a frequent attack of Mongols which took place during the time of Alauddin Khilji. So at that particular point in time, in order to keep away the Mongols attack, so he started to strengthen his fortification, where he started constructing a lot of forts as well. And in the court of Alauddin Khilji, there were many intelligent and the famous generals. But the most famous generals were called as Zafar Khan and Malik Kafur. Malik Kafur was also known as Hazar Dinari. The reason why Malik Kafur was known as Hazar Dinari, that is because Alauddin purchased this Malik Kafur for thousands of dinar from the port of Cambay. As this Malik Kafur was being purchased with thousands of dinar, which means, you call it as Hazar, means thousands in Hindi. Okay, so that's why he was being known as, Hazar Dinari. Malik Kafur, he wanted to impress his master, that is Alauddin Khilji. For this reason, Malik Kafur started to conquer some of the places for his master, like he started to conquer Dwarasamudra and also the Madurai. Alauddin was also a very great administrator. He was a very successful general. He was an accomplished administrator. He had a strict watch on the nobles. He was frequently checking out how the nobles were working in his particular kingdom. And he also took some of the steps for the revolts. The land and property which was being given as the gift for the nobles, those land and property was being taken back from the nobles, because he wanted the nobles to bow down in front of him. Okay, so the gift which was being given to the nobles, that is the land and property, it was being taken back from them. All the nobles who were there in his particular kingdom, they were restricted to attend any kind of marriages or the parties or any kind of social gatherings. And he also prohibited drinking wine in the public. So that was the biggest offense during the time of Alauddin Khilji. And in his particular empire, there was a spy system which was being organized by Alauddin Khilji to know how the people or the nobles used to work in his particular kingdom. And he wanted to improvise his particular empire. So that's the reason he had the spy system which was being organized in his particular kingdom. And he also introduced the two famous thing during his particular time. It was basically the system that he introduced. One is called as the Chera, the other one is called as the Dhag. Dhag is nothing but branding of the horses. So there were many horses in the court of Alauddin Khilji. So there was a kind of branding which was being done for the horses in order to know that these horses belong to his particular empire. And Chera is nothing but the ID card which were being given for the soldiers to identify that those soldiers belonged to his particular empire. So these were the two systems which was being introduced by Alauddin Khilji. Alauddin Khilji had a large standing army in his particular empire. That's because he wanted many people in his empire in order to conquer many places. And he also asked the people who were there in the particular kingdom to pay heavy annual taxes to the Sultan. With the help of the taxes, he can actually make the kingdom grow more and more. The daily used commodities, like we have the oil, the wheat, the ragi, the barley, the rice, be it anything, all the daily used commodities had a fixed price. And there was also special revenue officers were appointed in his particular kingdom in order to collect the taxes, and the taxes were collected in the form of cash. And to look after the market, Alauddin Khilji also appointed the supervisors to supervise the market. So there were some kind of officers who were being appointed in order to supervise the market. And the essential goods, for example, we have the milk, we have the eggs, the meat, or be it any kind of ragi, barley, or the iron materials, or the bronze, any kind of materials, all these kinds of essential goods had, the prices were actually kept very, very low so that it can be feasible for the people to utilize these essential goods in their daily life. The defaulters who were there in this particular kingdom, they were being punished in case whatever they would have taken from the king, if the repayment was late, so those people were also being punished. There was the government granaries which was being set up. We all know what is granary. Granary is a place where the grains are being stored so that during the time of any kind of natural calamities, those grains would be distributed amongst the people, okay, so that they can use it for their consumption. So there were government granaries which were also being set up. The land revenue was being strictly collected. So if there were any kind of defaulters during the time of paying the land revenue, those people were also being punished. That's what I told you in the beginning. And the revenue was being raised to half of the produce. Alauddin was a great patron of art and architecture. He constructed a lot of famous buildings. The first thing, he constructed Alai Darwaza. Alai Darwaza acted as the entrance to the Qutub Minar. And he also constructed the Siri Fort. He constructed the Palace of Thousand Pillars, which has been located in Warangal. And near the, Alai Darwaza, that is near the Qutub Minar, there was a madrasa which was being constructed by Alauddin Khilji. So these were some of the important architectural facts of Alauddin. And all these monuments is still now famous in today's date. Alauddin also started to construct something called as the Hauskas. Hauskas is nothing but it is a big royal tank, okay, for the royal bath, especially for the kings and queens. So those people used to come and take bath in this particular Hauskas. Alauddin was not a religious minded, so he was very much religious tolerant person. Alauddin died in somewhere around the 1316 CE. After his death, Alauddin had a son and his name was called as Qutb Uddin Mubarak Shah Khilji. So after Alauddin's death, Qutbuddin Mubarak Shah Khilji came into the throne. And this Qutbuddin Mubarak was there into the throne only for 4 years because he was an incapable ruler and he was inefficient as well. As he was inefficient, the Khilji dynasty came to an end and Tughlaq dynasty rose up. In the court of Alauddin Khilji, there were a lot of poets and scholars, but there were two important poets and scholars who adorned the court of Alauddin Khilji. One is called as Amir Khusro, the other one is called as Amir Asan. During the time of Alauddin Khilji, as I told you, there was a frequent Mongol attack. Because of that reason, a lot of people were being affected. So people wanted to be in a safer side. So most of the people started to search for the employment and the shelter in the neighboring lands. So that most of the people from the Khilji dynasty started moving to the neighboring countries or the lands in order to look for the shelter and the employment. The reason is because of the frequent Mongol attack. Amir Kusur, he was also called as the father of Qawwali. He was a very, very great poet as well as the writer. There are some kind of important works of Amir Kusur. The first one is the Khazainul Futuk. Khazainul Futuk is actually a book written by Amir Khusro, and it is basically describing about the conquest that Alauddin made during his time. And we have the Dual Rani Khizr Khan. So Dual Rani Khizr Khan is the love story between Dual Rani and a king called as Khizr Khan. The next we have the Mijta ul Futuk. Mijta ul Futuk is again a kind of writing. It's a famous writing. It basically talks about the victory of Jalaluddin Khilji, who was the founder of Khilji dynasty. The next we have the Nur Sipir. Nur Sipir is nothing but it's a poetical description of the Qutb-ud-Din Mubarak Shah Khilji's reign. As I told you, Qutb-ud-Din Mubarak Shah Khilji, he was the son of Alauddin Khilji. So this Qutb-ud-Din Mubarak Shah Khilji was there in the throne only for 4 years, but then he proved to be incapable. But even though he was there in his particular throne for 4 years, he did something which was a very good thing. So there was a poetical description of this Qutb-ud-Din Mubarak Shah Khilji's reign as well. And that book is being called as the Nur Sipir. Then another book called as the Laila Majnu, that is one of the famous books. The other one is called as the Aina-i-Shikandri and the Hast Bisti. So these are some of the important writings of Amir Kusur. So this is all about the Khilji dynasty. Hope this was very interesting.